We're looking at a new year, 2016. We're all looking for ways to improve ourselves, our environment, how to save money, and have a better life and a better business. Our next guest, Brian Thomas, is from Smart Emissions Reducer, and he has a way for us to cut back on the waste and the smog that comes out of our car, and at the same time, to save us some money. How does that work, Brian? Did I get it right? The name and
you did, absolutely. Yeah, it's great to be back again, and we've had a great response so far, and we look forward to having even more people from the Central Valley contact us. Again, just a quick review. Our technology works a little different than some of the stuff you've seen on TV, perhaps. A lot of the cars and trucks out there have DPF filters if it's a diesel, and if it's a gasoline, they've got the regular PCV system and a catalytic converter.
Great.
Ours taps into the PCV system that already exists on the car. Now, this has to be an external PCV system, and for some people that maybe don't have any mechanical knowledge, that's a standard part of all cars.
PCV, what does that stand for?
That stands for positive crankcase ventilation.
Oh, okay, and that you reburn your waste or something.
Correct.
By running it through the catalytic converter or something.
Right. Well, that goes back into the intake, and then goes through the combustion process, and then will eventually make its way to the catalytic
Runs it through
converter.
the engine twice.
Right.
At least.
Right. And that really, it's not too beneficial for the engine, but they've mandated it that they have to put that waste product basically back in the engine.
So you're putting junk back in your engine.
Exactly.
That's the system now. You didn't invent it. I didn't invent it. The federal government or somebody has made us do that these last few years.
Right. So this technology takes that waste product and it changes it at a molecular level, and then it gets reintroduced as basically a combustion accelerant, which is going to make the car, first and foremost, have lower emissions and have that side benefit of lower emissions and going to have longer service drain intervals because it's going to keep that engine cleaner. And one thing we didn't talk about last time is it actually keeps it a little bit cooler.
Cooler, wow. So the system now that reruns your fuel waste through your engine again, this catches it before it goes through the engine again.
Right.
Cleans it up, remolecularizes it.
Yeah, it breaks it down into just a more combustible form.
And then it actually could be good for your engine or give you more fuel.
Correct. And we're looking now, we talked a little bit about there are some German companies out there that are, well, they're in some serious hot water right now.
A car company that will go unnamed got caught cheating, I think.
Correct, they did.
Emissions.
And not
test.
only with the emissions, but they were, kind of misled people about the mileage.
Yeah.
And let me put this out there. If you work for these companies, reach out to the management, reach out to the owners. We've reached out to them. We've had a little bit of dialogue.
So there is a fix that they could use on these cars.
The fix is right here. You're looking at it. Okay, this will take care of the emissions.
And they're talking about paying out thousands of dollars in damages and stuff. Would this cost thousands to put on a car, one car?
This device, at its regular retail price point, is around $500. Now, of course, if one of these major corporations came to us and ordered hundreds of thousands, in this particular, I believe it's close to 800,000 or more vehicles, obviously they're going to get a pretty good deal from us.
They could do better than retail.
Right. Okay. And then it's going to address their mileage challenges too. So, okay, we've got the people out in the corporate world that could have the benefits, and we'd love to see this as an OEM product, and we're in some negotiations for that at a very high performance car maker in Italy. That's got to remain nameless for the moment, but you could use your imagination, and probably there's not too many high performance car makers there,
Italy, yeah.
so you'd probably figure it out. But people in the Central Valley, okay, you're still on that worst air quality
We got
list
a
for quite
problem
a
here
while.
in the valley.
Yeah.
And a lot of individuals are looking for something to do. They want to contribute and help with the problem.
And if you have a fleet, whether it's in real estate, people have to drive around a lot. You've got a taxi fleet. You've got a municipal fleet. Anyone at the municipal level, city level, county level, please give us a call. We're here to help. We're here to help you lower your carbon footprint. The technology is here. Doesn't take that long to install. And unlike other technology, this has an ROI. So a lot of people say, hey, how much does this cost? The real question they should ask is, how much are we going to save?
How much are you going to save? Because you are going to save.
Right.
It's going to pay for itself.
Right.
Maybe in a year or a couple of years.
It depends.
It depends on the car.
If it's a small fleet in mom and pop, probably a year. We've had fleets that have very large fleets, and they've outfitted their entire fleet. They actually had an ROI in about 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
And that's pretty impressive.
Now, the City of Fresno has buses. They must be diesel.
Yes.
They're not gas.
Right,
they're
and
not-
some of them have CNG buses, and this does work on gasoline.
Right.
It also works on diesel, compressed natural gas, and even biodiesel.
Okay. Now, the buses, when they take off, the big puff of black smoke comes out the back, so you know they're polluting some.
Exactly.
And this could help. Now, a friend of mine has that car from Germany, and unnamed company, and he's concerned because he bought it because he thought he was doing good, helping the environment, good gas mileage and stuff like that. But he noticed, pretty quickly that he wasn't getting the gas mileage he thought.
Yeah, there's apparently an algorithm that the particular company used that when the emissions testing device are plugged into the OBD2 port, and that would be the onboard diagnostic, it basically changes the algorithm.
Okay.
And when it's out on the road, it is polluting
Okay.
more. And when it's just stationary and it's plugged in,
Plugged in the computer.
That's
So
when
it gives you a different story.
Yeah, the computer's basically designed to rig it. And this company has already done payouts.
Mm-hmm.
It's try to keep people, I guess, maybe less angry.
Yeah.
But the money that they've already paid out is more than if they embraced our technology right from the beginning.
Yep.
Problem would have been solved right from the beginning, and they still don't have a solution that they brought forth to the table.
This could be a small fix for a company that size
Yes.
to get this onto the cars. Now, so what can I do? Just pop down to the local auto parts store and buy one of these?
No, unfortunately, they're only available directly through our company, smartemissionsreducer.com, and it is by appointment. We've had quite a few calls and so forth. We would get you next in the queue. I mean, the holidays are going on and so forth. New budgets are coming up for 2016, so people will be excited to kind of get in the queue. And what we do is we need your model, we need the make, need to know what sort of mileage, and I'll expand a little bit further. This thing doesn't fix a broken engine. Let me make that clear. Okay, if you have a check engine light already, those things need to be mediated before you call us.
What if you're having trouble passing that smog test? This might help?
This can definitely help.
Okay.
And if you've gone through all of the standards to try to pass your emissions test, this would be the thing. And obviously the price point for your average Joe would say, well, okay. But if you've done everything else and you're thinking, maybe do I have to get rid of the car? No, you don't. Our motto is go green with the same machine, and this technology can definitely help you pass your smog test.
I budget about $200 a month for my car to make the payments, and then when that's paid off, I keep budgeting that $200 a month. I said for repairs because you need them at that point. So if you have that little car budget, a smart way to do it. This is well within the budget.
Absolutely.
I budget like $2,400 a year for repairs and maintenance and stuff. So this would be a smart thing for even someone like me, but even smarter for that company that has 20 trucks or 20 cars that they got to keep on the road all the time.
Right.
And they're going to, excuse us, in business, we're a little selfish. If we could save money on fuel, especially if you have 20 cars, emissions, it's nice to cut back on emissions, but we love to save the money on fuel, and this could help.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so let's give the website and the phone number. Now, you say if you want to find out about your car, before you call, get the model number?
Yeah, year, make, model number, even submodel, and our technical director will look it up, make sure that we can service this, because again, we can do the majority of them out there, but not everyone, and some of them might not be worth it. Again, we talked about, some of the PCB systems are really deep in the engine. We just can't get to them.
And some cars with a closed system, you can't get to them, but a lot of the cars you can. So it's free to find out, right?
Right. You could give us a call and find out.
Tell them where to call.
You can call 1-800-EES-TEAM. That's 1-800-EES-TEAM. It's a 1-800 number. It's free to call. Again, if you're with the county, municipal fleets at all, law enforcement, we're here to serve you. And you could do a pilot program and find out how it's going to work for you.
Yeah. I tell you who watches these shows a lot are the city councilmen, not just from Fresno, but all these little communities. There's over almost 200 city councilmen within an hour's drive from here. You could take this to your city councilman. You could be the hero to your city. So let's get our whole city fleet on these. And then if you have, these are cars. Every city has all these cars they drive around, plus the buses.
Absolutely.
That could be a giant savings and a giant help for the for your entire community by cutting back on the emissions. Now, what about the website? Is there information to be found there?
Yeah, the website is loaded with information. We have some of the technical reports. We've done some Roush testing. And this is not only in the USA. We actually have this product in several different countries. I've been personally to Saudi Arabia. I've been to Dubai. We have the technology in China. We had a major manufacturer looking at it there. And it's something that can be used globally as well as locally.
Now, we talked about our pollution in the San Joaquin Valley. China's got to do something about their pollution problem, and Japan. And this could be, a fix. It's already developed, the technology. Nobody thought of this and built it in 10 minutes. There's a lot of work and engineering that went into this.
Right.
And so all that is already done. And now just buying and installing the products is the next step.
Yeah, a lot of these cities now are implementing a no driving ban. And that's hurting commerce.
Yeah.
So instead of taking cars off the road, why not implement this fleet-wide, city-wide, or maybe require it for city driving?
Now we have a video. Tell us about the video. Is this a Q&A video?
Yeah, we've got a Q&A video. This is typically people ask us the same questions, so we decided we would make a video that would address all the basics that people ask.
Same questions. And like the questions I keep asking you over and over. This is about our third interview together. I'm asking them the same questions until I get it. So let's take a look at the video and see if this helps.
Will the smart emission reducer void my vehicle warranty?
No, the Smart Emissions Reducer will not void your vehicle warranty. The product was issued a CARB executive order number, which basically explains that the device will not have any harmful effects to your vehicle.
So what benefits can we expect from the Smart Emissions Reducer?
The Smart Emission Reducer will reduce harmful vehicle emissions significantly while providing a side benefit of fuel economy. Every vehicle and vehicle usage is different, so benefit range will vary.
If the Smart Emissions Reducer is so great, how come I never heard of it? And how come the car companies are not yet using the product?
Well, most innovations that begin on a grassroots level usually never make it into the mainstream until years after market introduction. The Smart Emissions Reducer is not yet used by the vehicle manufacturers. However, it is being considered as OEM component for the near future. We already have a commitment from an off-road sport vehicle manufacturer who will offer this as standard equipment on their vehicle lines.
The Smart Emissions Reducer, it just sounds too good to be true to me. You get this once a month, all these different, everybody has a different idea, it just doesn't sound right.
The Smart Emissions Reducer is an affordable and a realistic approach in lowering harmful vehicle emissions, which we have many documents that demonstrate both third-party and real-time test results that validate its functionality and its benefits. Unlike products of the past, the Smart Emissions Reducer addresses emissions at the source of the problem, on the production side of the engine, not at the tailpipe.
So where can I get it? Can I install it myself?
Well, you can go to www.smartafs.com or www.smartemissionsreducer.com to order your Smart Emissions Reducer today. Only qualified technicians that have participated in the Smart Emissions Reducer Tech Training Program may install the device on vehicles. Check out www.smartafs.com for more information about the Smart Emissions Reducer.
Okay, smart emission reducer. Well, that's a question I had about the warranty of the car. You're really not doing anything to the car or the function of the car. You're just catching some bad emissions and treating them before they go back through your engine again.
Right.
So,
And just keep in mind, we're not removing anything. We're simply adding something
Into the
to
line.
the existing condition.
into the line of the path where the bad emissions are moving and just being dumped right back in your engine. You're going to grab them out of that stream, somehow hold them in here, I guess.
Yeah, and just to clarify a couple things, this is not a filter. Sometimes people ask me, is this a filter? And even though there's metal screens in there, and it is a device that's low maintenance, but not maintenance free. What we do, if I could see that one, what we do is we take this, and when we're doing the pilot program, we do that 30, 60-day, 90-day cycle. We take it, we clean it with brake parts cleaner, shake it out, reinstall it, and then at 60 and 90 days we do that. Because then we can see your particular car, how it's reacting. If it's an older car, it's probably going to be really built up with carbon. Now, even though it's not a filter, it's kind of like one because if this is clogged up with oil and carbon and you don't clean it, it's not going to work as well.
Okay. So when you say it's not a filter, you said it actually changes the molecular structure of what's passing through.
It is actually classified as a cold catalyst system.
Okay.
And the gas is going through the metals is how it operates. And what's great is there's no electricity involved. There's no batteries. There's no moving parts. There's nothing to wear out in this.
You're catching something that's already moving and just putting this in the middle of that.
And some people have, some questions like, well, how do I know that this is working for me? And that's where the pilot program comes into play. We would do what's called the baseline, and we have either, with the gasoline, it's a 5-gas analyzer. We'd come in, and you have to make sure your car's up to temperature. Those consistencies have to be key. You just can't start your car cold and do a test because it'll be wrong. So you take it out for 15, 20 minutes, make sure it's up to temperature. We'll get a baseline reading. It'll print out. We install the device. You take it out for 10, 15 minutes, and you will see a significant reduction then. But even over a course of days and weeks, it will be a huge difference. But, within an hour, you will see significant
There will be a
differences by
difference.
installing
From the
this.
start, from the minute it's installed, it starts making a difference. Anyway, yeah, we I don't have to understand how it works. It works.
I don't know how my cell phone works, but it
it's
does.
Some molecular restructuring or something, but it gives cleaner air and better gas mileage and longer life on the car. That's a big, big deal. And you can do it with Smart Emissions Reducer. And we're going to watch one more video, but I want to go over the phone number again where people could call. By the way, if you don't get the phone number down fast enough and you still want, just call us here at Central Valley Talk. We'll give you the phone number, but tell us how to reach you.
Sure. Once again, it's 1-800-EES-TEAM. And if you have technical questions, you can ask for Mr. Holler. If you need to book an appointment, you could talk to Roseanne, our secretary. And if you have any questions regarding the history of the company and so forth about the product, you can ask for Sam. He's our CEO, and he can make an appointment to help you out with that.
Now, this show's watched all over the world. I mean, people, every country except, I think, North Korea watches it. We have hits from every single country. But 90% of our viewers are right here in the San Joaquin Valley. And from one end of the valley to the other, what kind of presence do you guys have here? I mean, you're here, obviously.
Right.
You're here every week or so.
Right. There's me and another associate, and we have the technicians that are dispatched to here. And we're actually looking for additional places to be installers of our technology, train some more technicians. That way we can service people better. And we have a feeling after this show runs some more, we're going to have a need for that. So, again, if you're a fleet manager, if you work for the county, or if you're just a citizen out there concerned, call your local politicians and say, I saw this on Central Valley Talk.
Yeah, please say
Can
Central
we
Valley Talk.
embrace this technology and lower our carbon footprint?
Well, that fleet manager for, say, the city of Fresno, for example, they ought to talk to you. I
Sure.
mean, just talk to them. And then probably they have their own garage. You'd go in and train their people, I would imagine, because they're always getting new vehicles and always taking vehicles out of service. So
And the great thing is, you can take this and transfer it to your new ones.
to the new, you could take it out.
As long as it's similar size.
Yeah, when you're
Obviously, this one's not going to work on a tractor trailer. If you have tractor trailers,
gonna be
this
bigger,
one would
so.
work for that.
All right. I want to thank Brian Thomas from Smart Emissions Reducer. He's come by a couple times to tell us about this great product. Great for the valley, great for all of us, great for fleets, people who own a lot of cars, but individuals could do it too.
Absolutely.
But you got to call them. You got to go to the website. Anyway, tell us about this last video we're going to watch.
The last video will go a little bit into the science behind it, and it will really explain, in layman's terms, how our technology works.
Excellent. Smart Emissions Reducer.
The Smart Emissions Reducer interacts with the crankcase vapors present in both gasoline and diesel engines as PCV and CCV gases. It decomposes and ionizes the heavy hydrocarbon elements, thus converting them into a light combustible hydrocarbon medium capable of promoting a more rapid and thorough combustion within the effective crank thrust angle of the power stroke. Crankcase vapors consist of blow-by gases and aerosols of heavy oil vapors generated through windage activity. The heavy hydrocarbon elements in a liquid aerosol form are unable to contribute to the combustion process and mostly cause carbon buildup in the engine while elevating exhaust pollution. Using dissimilar metals to form a functional cold catalyst, the Smart Emissions Reducer fractures these large hydrocarbon molecules by extracting the common bond electrons. This results in smaller molecularly sized HC elements with many ionic charges. These lighter ionically charged hydrocarbon customers are able to speed up the flame front to convert more of the chemical energy in the fuel to kinetic energy at the flywheel and emit less toxic emissions into the atmosphere.
Wait a minute! I got a better idea. In an engine, there's only so much time for fuel to burn and make power. Beyond this magic window, burning fuel just heats up the coolant and exhaust systems. The Smart Emissions Reducer converts normally harmful crankcase vapors into something more like a quality fuel. You know, kind of like an additive. To show how this process can improve performance, reduce emissions, and improve fuel economy, let's cook up an illustration. To show how this works, we'll use two identical charcoal grills. We'll use the same amount of charcoal and lighter fluid in both grills. To one of the grills, we'll add a combustion accelerant, gasoline. Gasoline burns at a much faster rate than the lighter fluid, much the same way the blow-by gases in the engine do after being modified by the Smart Emissions Reducer. We only need a tiny, tiny amount of gasoline. We don't want to use it as a fuel, just a combustion accelerant. Now it's time to fire off the spark plug. Can you see the grill with the combustion accelerant is really taking off, while the normal grill is still working on what we call flame propagation? We're getting a nice, even gray color across the entire surface of the grill with the combustion accelerant, while the normal one is still working on getting things burning. Okay, now the exhaust valve opens and whatever hasn't burned becomes pollution. It doesn't take a scientist to figure out that a combustion accelerant will improve performance and mileage while reducing exhaust emissions. This means you can go green with the same machine.